Junie B. Jones, Book 25. Jingle Bells, Batman Smells. P.S. So Does May. Chapter 2. Jingle Hats. The rest of the morning we did arithmetic. Arithmetic is the school word for adding and taking away. Only I couldn't even concentrate on my numbers that good. On account of May kept giving me mean looks and flopping her sweater sleeve around. Pretty soon there was a knock on the door. "Come in, please," said room 1. Mr. Scary taught us to say that, only I don't actually know why, 'cause people come in anyway. The door opened very slow, and ha! It was Mr. Toot, the music teacher. He was carrying a big brown box in his arms. It was dusty, I think, 'cause when Mr. Toot plopped the book on the floor, Sheldon started to sneeze his head off. Sheldon is allergic to dust particles. Also, he is allergic to hoagies, and dairy products, and nature. Achoo! 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 Mr. Scary looked at him real panicked. Then he quick picked up a tissue box, and he rushed to Sheldon's desk. But Sheldon was already wiping his nose on his shirt sleeve. "Ha! I beat you again, Mr. Scary," he said. "I beat you at that race every time I sneeze." Mr. Scary closed his eyes. "I have told you before, Sheldon, we are not racing," he said. Sheldon laughed. Then he threw his fist in the air and he shouted, "Sheldon Potts rules!" Mr. Scary rolled his eyes. Then he moved the dusty box farther away from Sheldon's desk, and Mr. Toot lifted the lid. I stood up to look, and wowie wow wow! Guess what was in there? Elf clothes, that's what! There were little green elf hats with jingle bells on their ends. Plus also, there were cute elf vests with belts. And Mr. Toot held them up for us to see. "Boys and girls, our PTO made these costumes several years ago for our holiday sing-alongs," he said. "Aren't they great? Every single first grader is going to get to wear one today." He started passing them out. My Richie friend Lucille got hers first. She looked at it and made a face. "Okay, number 1, I don't wear this shade of green. And number 2, I don't wear bell hats," she said. Mr. Scary looked up at the ceiling. Then he took Lucille by her hand, and he walked her into the hall. And she came back wearing the bell hat. Pretty soon, all of the rest of room 1 were wearing our bell hats, too. We shook our heads. The bells jangled very jingly. "Hey, this room sounds like a jingle bell sleigh," I said. Mr. Toot did a chuckle. "You're right, Junie B. Every year, one lucky class gets to wear the jingle bell hats. And this year, because room 1 has been so well behaved in music class, I chose you." All of the children clapped and clapped, except not for Lucille. Instead, she threw her hands in the air and shouted, "What are the odds?" After that, she flopped her head on her desk, and she didn't come up again. Mr. Toot ignored her. "And that's not all my good news either," he said, "because each year the class with the bell hats goes on stage, and they lead the whole auditorium in singing Jingle Bells." Room 1 jumped up from our seats. "Jingle bells! Jingle bells! Yay, yay! We're going to lead Jingle Bells!" Mr. Toot smiled. "Okay, everyone, just to make sure that you know the words, we are going to have a short rehearsal," he said. "Rehearsal!" we shouted. "Yay, yay, rehearsal!" Only too bad for us, 'cause rehearsal was nothing to shout about. We sang that dumb song a jillion times, I bet. At first it was kind of fun, only then it got real boring. And so that's how come I started singing funny different words. They were funny words about Batman and Robin. I sang them loud so my friends could hear. "Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg. Batmobile lost its wheel and Joker got away." Herbert and Lenny laughed and laughed. May did a gasp. Then she sprang up like a spring, and she started to tattle. Mr. Toot! Mr. Toot! Junie Jones is singing the wrong... I quick yanked her skirt. Psst, May, are you crazy? I whispered. You and I can't fight anymore, remember that? If you tattletale on me, we'll be parking ourselves at Principal's. May covered her mouth with her hands, and she sat down real fast. Oops, never mind, she said to Mr. Toot. I wiped my worried forehead. Whew, that was a close one, I said. I saved our gooses. May leaned across the aisle. You did not save our gooses, Junie Jones, she said. I saved our gooses. I'm the one who didn't tattle. She pointed her finger at me. But you better not sing those bad words at the sing-along, she said. I mean it, Junie Jones. If you sing those bad words on stage, I will tell on you no matter what. I did a big breath. Robin laid an egg is not bad words, May, I said. An egg is nothing for a bird to be ashamed of. I don't care. It doesn't matter, she said. You already ruined enough today, Junie Jones. You ruined my sweater, and you ruined my mood. But you're not going to ruin the sing-along, too. She crossed her arms at me. Even if I get in trouble myself, I will still tell on you, she said. You can count on that, Junie Jones. After that, she leaned back in her chair, and she brushed her hands together real smuggy. I looked and looked at that girl. May is off her rocker, I believe. The end of chapter 2.